tonight, and you had this idea. There was something we had talked about on an episode of episode 5 of Last of the Geeks came out a couple Fridays ago. Last Friday or the Friday before, I can't remember. The Friday before the Super Bowl. It was a very hard episode to watch by the end of the episode because of a lot of the stuff that's happened in it. So at that point, we were 5 episodes into the series. And in this point, either a main character or another character had died that was quite emotional during the episode. And I had thought to myself, well, am I going to want to watch this series again? Not because the show isn't outstanding, which it is, but just the mood that it puts you in, the feeling that you get. Chris, what are your thoughts on rewatchability of things? Do you think, I'm going to start it with the question that I had, do you think it's the creators, the studio's role to make something rewatchable? Or is it their role to make something just as good as possible and maybe add in a shock or something big that just grabs your attention and hits you right there in that moment? And that's what they're trying to do. Are they trying for one moment, or are they trying for a longer go back to it type of feel? How do you decide on what the creators and studios should be trying to do with getting something to be more rewatchable or not rewatchable?
I would think the goal is just you want to make something entertaining, and if it has that rewatchability, cool. I mean, you would hope for it, sure, but you got to make something entertaining to begin with. I do feel like some movies, they're hoping it'll be something good, like comic book movies. All these comic book movies, they want us to keep watching them, and we mostly do. But then there's some movies like a twist movie, like The Sixth Sense. I have seen that movie one time. I'm pretty much good with it.
Sure.
Or The Others with Nicole Kidman, which also has a huge twist at the end. I saw it the one time. That's cool for me. But then there's other films where the twist is coming, and you'll just keep rewatching it because the movie is that entertaining. So at the core, that's what matters, that it's entertaining.
So what makes something rewatchable for you? Like, I'm picturing something super serious versus something that's like, I'm thinking like Back to the Future. I can watch that movie anytime. Or Drive is a little bit different, like I was talking about, but what is it about something that makes it rewatchable for you?
Okay, so let's take a rom-com, for example, which I talked about a lot recently.
Yeah.
Like Fever Pitch, for example. That's something I can watch pretty often. I can just throw it on the background. It doesn't require me to always be completely tuned into it.
Yep.
And it's still funny. The jokes are not old to me. It's still entertaining. I like the cast a lot. So it's easy to put on. When it's something that I have to put on and really pay attention to it, like all the time, that makes it less likely that I'll rewatch it. Like something like, The Batman, as much as I love it, that's not something I put on in the background, or I'll just throw it on. I have to be ready to sit down for 3 hours to watch that. Whereas even at like a Fast and Furious movie, I don't need to watch the entire thing, like be glued to it. I'll even use my phone or something. I'll pick up my phone, mess with Twitter, so while it's on, it doesn't matter.
That's something I was thinking about. The movie, you don't have to be attentive. You can actually, like you said, put something on if you want to, like, clean the house or, clean your room or, write a paper or play on your phone, talk to somebody, and you're not missing something. I feel like if you would do that with the Batman, you would miss something, or any kind of.
And I'll just go back and rewind it and do it again.
Sure. That kind of thing. So yeah, I think it depends on tone of the movie and probably genre. I'll let you, like you said, rom-coms feel like something that you can put on anytime.
Or comedies in general, like The Hangover.
Comedies in general.
Like, they're like Dumb and Dumber. That's a good one.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think that I find horror movies every year you kind of watch them. But again, it depends on tone. Like, I'm trying to think of something like Phil and you guys, you're talking about Infinity Pool. That feels like a movie that maybe you would watch once and be like, okay, I've seen that. That's great. And I for me, myself, like my favorite movie of all time is Requiem for a Dream. I haven't seen that movie in years and years and years, and I don't anticipate putting that movie on again in years and years and years. Like it's a one and done. I know what it is. I get it, but I don't need to feel a certain way when I watch a movie sometimes.
I don't know if I want to. That's something I don't. I know I've seen it more than once, but I don't want to keep going back to that one. It's great,
like
though.
it doesn't have that rewatchability. So like, and that's the point of the movie, is not to have rewatchability. It's for when you watch it to feel a certain way.
It's got a message.
Exactly,
don't do drugs,
a message.
kids.
So that's totally fair. I've seen other people compare it, or not compare it, but Joker is another one that doesn't have a lot of rewatchability to it, because of how you're just watching this, Arthur Fleck be down in the dumps all the time, just kind of walking around the city and being a sad clown. You don't need to see it over and over and over again. You just watch it the once. And again, I think that's more or less the idea, aside from, and that's the other thing, is something in those type of movies that make you want to rewatch it, like Joaquin Phoenix. Seeing his portrayal in the movie makes you want to rewatch it. And like thinking about Requiem for a Dream with Ellen Bernstein, who's in that movie, seeing her performance would make me want to watch it again. I'm trying to think of another movie like that, but nothing comes off the top of my head.
Shawshank Redemption.
That's the one that you don't think it has a lot of rewatchability to it, but something in there does?
Yeah, it's very long. It's very dark. It does have a happy ending, but you go through a lot to get to that ending. So.
Sure, that's fair.
But I've seen that a lot. I love that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if there's another one.
I think Schindler's. This might be a weird one. Schindler's List is another one of those movies that I don't think is meant to be rewatched often, even though it's fantastic.
Yep.
I can't say there's many days where I'm just kind of mind my own business and say, hey, you know what? Time to watch Schindler's List. But it's a great film.
I get it. Yeah, I think that's totally fair, and I think it's an interesting thing. Something about comfort just, it really appeals to me now, more than a moment or a feeling. I do want to
means different things to different people.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
Like I could watch Interview with the Vampire, the comfort film, which is a weird one to pick, or the series.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or even like a horror movie.
Mm-hmm.
Other different horror movie. Ian says, great point. The Prestige is up there as a super rewatchable movie, more than any Nolan movie, even the Batman one. But that's just my opinion. That's an interesting one too, because once you know the twist, you can go back and watch it and pick up new things. That's a really interesting one. Grab says, I generally don't watch heavy dramas repeatedly. A Few Good Men and Field of Dreams rewatch all the time. Zeddy says, rewatchability seems to fall on the runtime of a movie. Like Top Gun Maverick clocks under 2 hours and is widely entertaining. Something like The Batman, fantastic in scale, but is a 3-hour cinephile's dream. Good point. Phil says, some rewatchable movies for me are The Dark Knight, Halloween, Uncle Buck, Christmas Vacation, and Jaws. That is a really wide variety of stuff. Yeah,
that's Phil. That's Phil at the movies. That's Phil in a nutshell, right there.
Yeah, that's awesome. Grabs can watch A Few Good Men almost on repeat. I think he was agreeing with you about Infinity Pool. That's a one and done.
He mentioned that he was watching that, or maybe it was something else, and I was like, I'm going to pray for you, Phil.
Ian says, Requiem for a Dream is a movie I will never watch again. Zeddy says, you want that 90 to 120 minute runtime if you want it to be a great movie. Only Spielberg seems to be the one that can master that over 2 hours, 30 minutes blockbuster appeal. Vin Diesel's going to do it this year with Fast 10.
That's right.
Films like Joker and Requiem make me too uncomfortable to rewatch. That's fair. Cookie says performances and cinematography will make me rewatch something if it's heartbreaking. I'm thinking Pig as an example. That's a good one too.
So does Pig have that uncomfortable feeling as you're watching it?
It has like a sad feeling because you feel for Nicolas Cage's character, not because it's Nicolas Cage for me, but it's an engrossing story that you just kind of get wrapped up in, and it hits.
Interesting.
So it's a good one to rewatch. What is the most rewatchable MCU movie? Mine would probably surprise you. Do you have one of those, Emmett?
I was thinking probably Guardians of the Galaxy or Infinity War. I think Infinity War is longer, but it's my favorite MCU movie, so it would be that one.
I think Winter Soldier for me. I could watch that on repeat.
Oh yeah.
I can do this all day. Grab said I don't make it through most 3-hour movies the first time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that means no Batman on HBO Max for Grabs.
Not surprising.
But rewatchable, something being rewatchable is a good thing. And also animated stuff, I think, is very easy to rewatch.
Big time. I can watch Moana any day of the week.
I love Moana. And Princess and the Frog is also one of my favorites. I can watch that one. Watch that one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like Peter Pan a lot too, but my mind always goes to the dark version now. Like the fan theories. No, the animated Peter Pan, the old one. But I always think of that the fan theories. Yeah.
You and your fan theories, just sicko.
I'm not a sicko. The people, I'm not the one who came up with the idea. I just think it's a good idea, and it's fitting. Oh, Encanto is another one. I could watch that all. In fact, what's funny about that is like Zoe, my daughter, has gone to sleep or whatever, and I'll put it back on and I'll watch it because it's entertaining.
For sure.
Ian says he finds Black Widow very easy to watch and hits me in the right field as I have 2 daughters. It's not my favorite, but I enjoy it a lot.
Interesting.
Cap vs. Avenger. Yeah, everybody likes Moana. We watched Moana again on Saturday. That movie's amazing.
One of the, like we mentioned, comedies and animated movies are easy to watch. One of the movies that more of a drama style that I could watch any day is No Country for Old Men. I could watch that movie any day. I could, well, maybe it's an Ethan and Joel Coen. I could watch a lot of their movies all the time. Like even Fargo, like I could watch that movie any day of the week. Big Lebowski is another one I could watch all the time. I think their movies have a lot of rewatchability because of their quippy dialogue and some of the performances they have in their movies. Do you have any other movies that you could watch anytime, Chris?
Goodfellas is a rare example of a movie that no matter what point in the movie I catch it, if it's on TV or something, I will finish it.
That's a common thing. I think people love just flipping the channels and they see Henry Hill and like, oh, yeah, that's it. My next 2 hours of my life are over with.
Yeah, Goodfellas is something that I don't know how many times I've rewatched it, but there's rare time I've started it and not finished it. Also, Wolf of Wall Street is a big one for me.
Oh, yeah.
I love Wolf of Wall Street. I watch that a lot. A lot of 80s, like Weird Science is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I mentioned Back to the Future. Like that little pocket of time, there's a lot of really rewatchable movies in there, I think.
80s movies were built differently.
Yep.
They're also, like, the plots are so over the top, but it was normal back then. Like Ferris Bueller, for example, makes no sense on paper. Absolutely 0 sense, but it's wildly entertaining.
Yep.
Also, as an adult, Ferris is an asshole, but that's a different thing.
For sure.
Grab said you guys have a huge difference in rewatchable, or just a difference. Rewatchable movies. And your name is Emmet.
Emmet, I'll take it.
Emmet. That's a good point, Emmet. Certain director styles make their films more rewatchable. That's true, too.
Yep. What about TV shows? Do you find that TV shows are the same kind of thing?
I'm weird with TV shows. I generally only watch a series one time and I'm done. Like, as much as I love Buffy, I have not rewatched the entire series.
Just because of the investment that you would have to put into it?
Yeah, I don't like the investment. I'd rather watch stray episodes, which is what I normally do. Or even like Entourage, Justified. Friends and Big Bang Theory are two of the rare series that I've watched all the way through multiple times.
Sure.
Oh, and I guess I have watched Interview with the Vampire a disgusting number of times so far. But that's more recent.
Yep. What about comics? Do you think comics are the same kind? Do you reread comics as much as you think?
No, I'll read certain, like Long Halloween, stuff like that, but generally not a lot. Do you? I know you reread comics, but what about you?
I reread comics a lot, actually. Yeah, I don't know why it is. Maybe it's just because it's harder to get the newer stuff with the physical ones that I have. So I'm just more or less, I come up to the room here and grab something off the shelf and reread it. And the investment, you don't need that much, like 15 minutes or 10 minutes to read a single issue. So if you want to read an entire volume, 6-issue trade or whatever, it takes you, 45 minutes or whatever. So just kind of a time killer. And I like rewatching things, any kind of things. I agree with you about TV shows. Like I've seen Seinfeld enough now. I don't need to rewatch Seinfeld, but I'll rewatch something that I've only watched once. Like recently I watched the Watchmen series again. And then I watched before the end of the year or after in January, I watched Rings of Power again. And I'll probably watch Interview with a Vampire one more time again. But that would probably be it. Like, I don't know if I'll keep watching it. I'll just watch something that I've only watched once just to make sure that I still like it, or if I hate it, I guess.
I don't know, maybe thinking about it, there are some shows I would like to rewatch. But it's the investment for me that kind of slows me down on it.
Sure. Well, yeah, it's true. Like I used to watch HBO shows just a lot. Like I'll just watch, I'll just watch The Sopranos again, or I'll watch Deadwood again. Like I could watch Deadwood, I think, a lot. It's only 3 seasons, 10 episodes per season, so it's a little bit shorter than other ones. Or same with The Leftovers, 3 seasons, 10 episodes. So I can watch those, but it's when you get into the 24 episode, 15 season kind of thing. Exactly. So HBO shows, I think, have a lot of rewatchability to them, even when some of it is hard as well, like The Last of Us, which will be interesting when it's all said and done, if I can finally get back to it.
At some point.
We'll see.
Graham says Galaxy Quest is probably the way I've seen the most. I can not only watch that repeatedly, but I can watch a documentary about it on repeat. Crazy, I know. I will finish that movie eventually. I've only seen the first hour. Cookie says the Kill Bill movies, Jaws, Pride and Prejudice. Those are probably my most rewatched. Very comforting. Which Pride and Prejudice? I think I've only watched the Keira Knightley one. I thought that was really good. Ian says I find Tron Legacy very rewatchable. I think the music helps. Easygoing action movies like Unstoppable often get put on. Those are another easy to put on. Just action movies.
Action movies. I agree. 100%. I was
Any
looking
Arnold
for
Schwarzenegger movie, or
Yep. Agreed.
I've watched Mando so many times. Yeah, I guess I watch a lot of episodes of Moon Knight. I've rewatched them. Eric says Trek shows, Batman animated series, of DCAU in general. It's all good stuff. Grabs his friends, The Big Bang Theory, and The Office. Cookie
Something
says
about comedies, eh? Comedies
they're just easy.
Yeah,
and they're comforting. Cookie says my so-called life I've watched multiple times. It being one season helped. Yes. I've never watched that show. I think I tried and I didn't get into it.
It's like Freaks and Geeks. I've watched Freaks and Geeks a couple of times.
Or is that the one I tried watching?
The one with Seth Rogen and all those guys.
Which one is James Franco in?
Yeah, he's in that one. Yep.
Okay, that's the one I tried watching.
Busy Phillips is in it, and yeah,
that's the one. Then. I've rewatched each Last of Us episode at least 3 times. You have a stronger heart than I, sir. Grabs rereads comics a lot. Phil agrees, and he'll also add Batman the Animated Series. Eric also rereads certain Batman comic storylines. Ian says The Boy, The Mole, The Fox and the Horse, and Matilda, the musical, have been on repeat in my house, mainly because of the feel-good factor and the positive message. Yeah, the feel-good movies also, they help too. For sure. The Keira Knightley one is pretty good. I enjoy that. Anyone else on a Keaton high watch Night Shift? I don't know if I've seen that. Meet the Parents is one of the most rewatchable movies for me. That's a hilarious movie.
100%, Eddie.
I just love Ben Stiller. I rewatched Duplex recently, and that was fun. Everyone in Freaks and Geeks. Everyone is in Freaks and Geeks. Very easy to watch, only 1 season.
Yeah.
Eric says, I definitely reread certain comic storylines, Batman or otherwise. Usually those are the ones I pick up and trade paperback. Yeah, I don't have a lot of trades. I mostly have a lot of random issues until I went digital. Digital is nice.
Yeah, so that's our thoughts on stuff that's rewatchable.